Today's video is going to be a little different, gamers. I'm going to talk about something that has stuck with me since I've read it. Now, if you're no stranger to the internet, then you're pretty aware of its sick humor. A big part of internet culture is daring your friends to either look or watch scary content. I'm sure that the words 2 girls, 1 cup brings up some horrible memories. Same goes for this image and this image. Now, I hope I didn't completely scare you yet, because today's topic is quite a doozy. Question: how many of you guys have seen this face before? This girl is our main character for today, and her story has made me feel actually ill. I don't normally do this, but I'll go ahead and give you guys a fair warning. What I'll be talking about has drug abuse, rape, sexual assault, incest, and overall violence. I'm gonna try my absolute best to keep this as safe as possible for you and for YouTube. This might be a challenge, which is a good thing that for today, I actually have a sponsor. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. In case you don't know, a VPN is a virtual private network that hides your location and protects your personal information. Their service allows for you to change your location by connecting to multiple different servers all over the world. How is this useful? Well, changing your location allows you to watch region-locked content. Listen, I have not been more annoyed since I found out that streaming services like Netflix lock movies on certain regions, even though you should rightfully be able to watch those. I mean, you are paying for it after all. Well, guess what? That won't be a problem with Surfshark VPN. What's that? Netflix won't let me watch The House Bunny? Fine, I'll just move myself over to London and voila, I can watch The House Bunny all I want. So go ahead and check out Surfshark using my link below, and make sure to use the code ZZ for an 85% discount. You'll also get 3 extra months for free as a bonus. Guys, please, you don't understand. I really need help here. I'm desperately trying to get out of this house. So thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring the video. Let's get on with the topic at hand. Emergence, or infamously known as 177013, is a hentai manga that started in 2013 and ended in 2016. The plot is about a girl whose life spirals down and she turns from a nerdy introvert into a drug-addicted prostitute. That sounds like an overall sad plot, but trust me, soon you will feel my pain. The story begins with the graduation ceremony of our main character, Saki Yoshida. During this time, she starts to reflect heavily on herself and her appearance. You see, Saki is not like other girls, and just like with all girls who have the not like other girls mentality, they believe all her classmates to be shallow for caring for their appearance. However, she finds out that she's just like other girls and wants to work on herself. So her mom decides to go get her a makeover, and now she's pretty, even though the nerdy look is much cuter, but whatever. Her new look gets her a lot of attention at school. Some of her classmates even ask her to hang out. How nice and wholesome. While in a store, she runs into an older guy who starts flirting with her. Holy shit, I'm screaming stranger danger, raise all the red flags. Just by looking at this man, you can tell he shouldn't be trusted. He offers to take her out to drinks, and of course, because she is a dumb, naive teenager, she takes him up on his offer. He takes her to karaoke where he convinces her to drink alcohol. Eventually, he smooth talks her enough to make out with him, and wow, this gets worse. He drugs her with what seems to be ecstasy, and then, this is rape, right? I mean, she's a minor. Okay, so the next few pages is just of this girl getting screwed, and her trying to justify what's going on in her mind. Mainly the belief that they must be in love, and that's why they're doing this. So she passes out after what happened, and waking up, we found out that the guy's name is Hayato. And now, she believes that Hayato is her boyfriend, and that they're deeply in love. Wow, I feel so fucking gross right now. So chapter 2 is where shit starts getting a little fucked up. We find out that she's been going out with Hayato for a month, and she's gotten herself hooked on those pills. Grossness of that man aside, her time with him hasn't damaged her school life. However, she does feel a bit lost and poor thanks to her classmates bragging about their Gucci and their YouTuber merch. So they suggest that Saki should get a part-time job. However, that is against school rules, so one suggested compensated dating. In case you aren't aware, compensated dating is a weird mix of being an escort and having a sugar daddy. It's basically a child prostitution service used by older men. Wow, I feel sick just saying that. So Saki, for whatever reason, agrees to do this and later that night meets with her client. I genuinely don't want to describe more than I need to for the next few pages, so I won't. In short, they have dinner, stop at a motel, old dude waves money in her face, and he gets her to have sex with him. I hate this! I genuinely hate this. After that situation, we actually get a heartwarming scene. Saki comes back to be greeted by her mom. She was about to scold her daughter for coming home late, but she couldn't help but notice how distressed Saki looked. Despite her not wanting to tell her what happened, Mom still knew that something was wrong. So she hugged her daughter and said, "Whatever happens, Mom will always be on Saki's side." When I first read that, this part actually gave me hope that she would get the help that she needs. Anyways, with the money that she made off of her job, she was able to buy herself some Gucci and impress her classmates. Although she herself couldn't enjoy it because her mind was full of guilt and blaming herself for what happened. You can tell from this point on that her mental state just gets worse and worse. That same day, some boys approach her with some blackmail. Photos were taken of her being with that man. Last time I checked, compensated dating can result in a student being expelled, and it also comes with societal shaming. Yes, shame the child for participating in such a thing. So in chapter 3, in order to keep those boys quiet, she'll have to do sexual favors for them. And small side note, we find out that she also enjoys others petting her head. God, you and me both. As you'd probably imagine, the blackmail has kept Saki pretty busy. Busy enough that her female classmates start to resent her and calling her a slut behind her back. Apparently getting male attention in any way is enough to get some bullying. We'll get to see that in a moment. Right now, things are going on at Saki's house. We find out that her father was let go, and being the sweet girl that she is, Saki says that she'd be more than happy to get a job. However, he shoots down on the idea, telling her that she has to focus on school. Mom reminded him that Saki is a young woman who needs to start helping around the house. This leads to Dad giving her some less than pleasant glances. I'm sure that most of you have watched enough Pornhub to know where this is going.
What are you doing, step bro?
Later that night, he barges into her room and he does what any disgusting degenerate does and rapes his daughter. After that, he continued to take advantage of her, and don't forget, back in school, she's still being blackmailed. Also, there are those so-called friends of hers. They decided to write horrible things all over Saki's desk. Embarrassed and scared, she ran out of school wondering who she could talk to. Then she remembered that her mom has her back, so clearly she'll know what to do. However, we find out that Mommy Dearest in fact does not have her back. She finds out what Saki and the father have been up to. And apparently, she's delusional because she blames Saki for what happened. She proceeds to actually beat Saki and then kick her out of the house. Scared, she wondered where she'd go, and then she figured it out. Remember Hayato? Yeah, he's still around. And after receiving Saki's cry for help, he invites her to live with him. Even the story makes it clear that from here on out, only hell awaits her. So not a lot happens in chapter 4, and to be honest, it's just a sex chapter. The main thing to take away from this is that Hayato got her addicted to another drug, specifically cocaine, and she becomes a prostitute to pay off Hayato's drug debt. She also gets a big makeover. She now has blonde hair, tan skin, tattoos. She doesn't even look like the same person anymore. Something I want to remind you all is that she's still a minor when this is happening. She is a naive, stupid child living in the adult world. And yes, she actually believes that she is grown up and mature. Holy shit, I don't want to call her stupid, but teenagers are stupid. So in chapter 5, she and Hayato have been living together for a couple months now, and she's been working her hardest to pay off Hayato's drug debt. However, you can't sleep around without suffering the consequences. So we find out that she's pregnant, and she decides to tell Hayato despite her worries of him being mad at her. So you know what he tells her? Yeet us that fetus! She goes to get an abortion, and you can tell from her expression just how much it hurts her to do this. I can only imagine the type of toll that takes on a woman mentally. Next, we get a little surprise. We see the return of the dude that she went on a date with. You know, the dude who shook money in her face and got her to have sex with him. He judges her appearance and tells her that she doesn't seem like herself anymore. Okay, so I need you to hear me out. Despite this man being a creep and a disgusting bastard, he does drop a couple of truth bombs on her. He tells her that the man that she's with isn't a good person and that her desire to please him has resulted in her devaluing herself as a person. The sad part of it is that he's proven right. In the next few pages, she does and says anything that he wants to get more cash out of him. There's not much of importance for the rest of the chapter. What matters, though, is that she gets raped once again and gets now addicted to heroin. We're now at chapter 6, boys. After an insane night, she wakes up in the trash and, surprise, she was robbed while drugged. With no other choice, she decided to go ask her drug dealer for the cash. Maybe, just maybe, he'll be sympathetic and help her out. Good news is that he does. However, he sets two options in front of her. In exchange for her service, he'll either pay her with the cash or more drugs. Guess which one the drug addict chose. Later that night, Hayato gets pissed when she tells him that there's no money. When he checks her purse, he assumes that she used it all on drugs and kicks her out of the apartment. So there we have it. The man who she believed loved her was just a lazy fuck who took advantage of her and threw her aside once she wasn't useful to him. Scared and with no one to turn to, she retreats to a park and does a shot of heroin. It does its magic, and in the middle of her finger painting, she gets approached by two homeless men. The usual happens, they take advantage of her while drugged. Hey, the good thing is that they offer her food and a bed, so there's that. In the morning, she wakes up in a new place, and one of the men from the night before offers her a meal. However, she doesn't get to enjoy it, and throws up. She says that she feels pretty sick, but it wasn't caused by the food or her surroundings. Saki finds out that she's once again pregnant. However, unlike last time, she's going to keep it. She's going to change and turn her life around for the baby's sake. Hell yeah, you go, queen. We did it. We're finally at the last chapter. Ready to see how this story closes? Oh boy, I can't wait. Over the next few months, she works hard to raise cash to start a new life, but she still suffers from a drug addiction. She does it to, quote, keep the pain away, and honestly, I don't blame her. While putting her things away, someone manages to see her cash. What a surprise! They're familiar faces from high school. Remember those bitches who wrote shit all over her desk? Yeah, them. They accuse her of stealing all the cash, so out of fear, she tries to make a run for it, but fails. They then beat her and kick her in the stomach while saying that she's a burden on society. The next few pages honestly hurt to read and look at. Saki was beaten, assaulted, and lastly robbed. Those animals left her with nothing, and the scariest part is, she lost the baby. Someone even saw her bleeding out, and he did nothing. In pain, she limped to the bathroom and stared at herself in the mirror. She tied her hair up and put on her old glasses to resemble her old self. Wishing that she could go back, she fell on her knees and took one last shot before shutting her eyes. She has a dying hallucination of what could have been if her life had just gotten back on track. She hugs her daughter, and we're left with the last image of her broken glasses on the floor. I need a minute. I remember reading this about a year ago and feeling sick and incredibly upset at this ending. And you know what? I still feel that way. I hate this. This ending scares me. Her whole story scares me. This isn't even horror, but I couldn't help but feel scared. And you know what? A part of me thinks that the reason why I'm scared is because I feel like I can relate to some of the things that happened to her. See, Saki was a naive and clueless teen. So many things happened to her that were out of her control. She was hated by her peers, taken advantage of, disowned by her parents, and thrown into an unforgiving world that did nothing but hurt her. Plenty of things that happened in this story just fed into my own fears. It just makes you think of the fucking disaster your life can turn into. And maybe you think, no, I'm not stupid enough for any of this shit to happen to me. You never fucking know. Now, would I recommend that you read this for yourself? No. However, if you're one of the people insane enough to read this, at least do it with caution, please. I don't want to be responsible for your next trauma. I would say more about this story, but I feel like I said what I needed to. This story, to a degree, does scare me, and I hate that I can relate to it. That's all I can really muster right now. So you know what? I'm just going to leave it here. Y'all, please take care of yourselves. The world has gone fucking insane. Thank you to Surfshark, and thank you for getting through this video. I'll see you next time, gamers.